Hello, welcome back to Unfiltered Makeup. I have some new to me products to test out today. We've got some foundation and concealer from Colourpop. I'm also going to be sharing my top 3 brow products that I discovered in 2023 that I'm bringing with me into 2024. And then some other products, some new, some old mixed in here. So first of all, I want to thank you for joining me in this video. And if you noticed that I haven't been around for a while, I just wanted to tell you a little story, but I think I'll go ahead and do that as we are testing out the makeup today. Obviously, I'm barefaced, my skin is prepped. I've got some lip prep on. I've got the Pacifica Vegan Collagen Lip Plumping Gloss, which I actually use more as a prep than for a lip gloss. This is in my Pacifica haul video from last year. I'll be sure to link that. But let's go ahead and just get started. So I shared my top 3 foundations that I love in 2023, but the top 2 are a little bit spendy, and the third one, which is a drugstore item, is a little tiny bit on the dry side for me. So I thought I would keep looking at the kind of more drugstore price range for a foundation that would be great, that's cruelty-free and vegan and good for dry skin. So I picked up, well, I actually picked up 2 different options from Colourpop, and one is a tinted moisturizer and one is a foundation. And I think today we'll go ahead and try out the foundation, but I got the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Tinted Moisturizer, which says it's ideal for all skin types, and that we have here. And then the other thing I picked up was the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation, and so that's why I thought, great, a hydrating foundation. Let's go ahead and test that out. So we have that here. And so let's go ahead and just get started with that. I also have, this one does say it's ideal for all skin types as well. I don't know about that. I picked up this shade Light 55N in the hydrating, in the tinted moisturizer, I picked up Light 5N. And then I also picked up the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer to try. And I picked up the shade Light 40N. So I haven't even opened these, tested these, don't really know much about them, but here's the concealer. So we'll go ahead and start with those 2 complexion products first and just go ahead and get started. And we'll test the tinted moisturizer another day. So as I am opening this up, it says apply 1 to 2 pumps of foundation to clean skin using your Fave Colourpop blending sponge or complexion brush. Blend into skin for a fresh, healthy looking application. The application tips are prep skin with Pretty Fresh Hydrating Hyaluronic Acid Primer to provide an extra boost of hydration. I didn't do that, obviously. So let's go ahead and just get started. It is a glass bottle with a pump. I love a glass bottle with a pump. My top 3 are all glass bottles with a pump. Is it glass? I think it's glass. I think it's a frosted glass. Maybe it's plastic. I can't really tell, actually, to be honest. All right, so I'm going to squeeze out 2 pumps onto my hand, and we're just going to test it out and see how it goes. All right, so it's got a pretty runny consistency, which is potentially good for the hydration. We'll see how it goes. I'm losing everything over here. I'm going to apply it today with a BK Beauty 101 brush. I will link my video of all my favorite brushes or brushes that you need in your collection. I'll link that video too. So let's go ahead and get started. So obviously this is a new background I have going on today. I'm just testing it. We're going to see how it goes. I do see now that there's not a lot of contrast between my hair and the background. So this might not stay. I still have the pink background. It's just a piece of fabric. But I had originally bought black because I liked the way that it looked. And I got this little lip light. But I also think it looks kind of like a frog because the place where you are supposed to hang it with the screws has like little frog eyes. So I don't know. We'll see how it looks actually on camera, but we'll see if they stick around. All right, let's real quick look how it's going. Okay. So far, I like how it's applying. It's not the most skin-like I've ever seen, but it's not terrible either. It does seem, we've got a nice glow, and it does seem pretty hydrating so far. So far so good. Let's finish it up. So anyway, you might notice I have this new background that I'm testing out, and part of the reason that I haven't been recording for so long is in November 1st I got really sick. In November I got really sick for a couple of weeks, like didn't get out of bed sick, and so my husband ended up taking down kind of the backdrop and the lighting, because the room I record in is our like multi-purpose room. It's our bonus room, so it's a office for both my husband and myself, and my husband works from home, so when he's not out in the field, so it takes up his space. It encroaches on his space. It kind of takes over my office space. And then it's also a playroom for our kids, and we have like a TV so they can do like video games and, you know, watch a movie up here, which we have another TV downstairs that they can also use. But it's great for like when they have friends over and stuff, but obviously I can't have my setup up during that. So anyway, November I was really sick. My husband took it down, and then I planned to get it back out, and it was Thanksgiving, so my husband ended up getting sick for Thanksgiving, so it was a little hectic here. He had to stay home, and then Thanksgiving was fine for the kids and I. My poor husband had to miss it, but it was a lovely Thanksgiving. And then that like Saturday after Thanksgiving, we went and got our Christmas tree, which is our tradition. We go to the Christmas tree farm and we pick out a tree and we cut it down. Well, we went to the Christmas tree farm and we found our tree, and I was just waiting for my husband to cut it down, and the kids and I were just kind of walking around while he cut it down, and I was just playing around, and I was standing on a very skinny log that was like a downed Christmas tree, and I was standing on it, but it was wet and the bark pulled away, and so my ankle slipped and it completely dislocated. So my ankle completely turned and snapped out underneath me, and then it snapped back in, and when it snapped back in, it broke a piece of the bone off, but it was just off. So anyway, I stood up and I walked myself back to the car, which was absolutely crazy of me. And we went to urgent care, and I found out I had a broken ankle. And so the piece of the bone that broke off will just stay in there, hopefully scar up. And the rest of it's essentially just a bad sprain. So anyway, I sprained my ankle pretty badly. I was in a lot of pain. And so I had a cast for 4 weeks, and I was on crutches. I have an upstairs downstairs house. It was so hard to even just get around for daily life that there was just no way I could put all this setup back up. So all that's to say, right now I'm currently in a walking boot. So I've started physical therapy, and I'm finally like more mobile and up and walking again, and I feel so much better too. But that's why I was finally able to get out all of the equipment and get everything back up and running. So I just wanted to thank you if you're still around and stayed subscribed for my hiatus there for a while. I plan to be doing at least one video every week for the rest of the year. So please do subscribe and make sure to stick around and stay tuned. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you want to see this year, because I do really want to make videos that you all want to see. So I am excited about what's to come. I'm back and at it now here in 2024, but I did have to take a break for a while. So hopefully I'll be even better on the mend soon and out of the walking boot, but so far everything's going good now, knock on wood. So it's good to be back. Anyway, long story long, I like this foundation so far. It's got nice coverage, it seems to be nice and hydrating, and I think it's looking good. Not too thick on the skin. Like I said, not the most skin-like, but not terrible. It's doing a decent job covering up a blemish, covering up some redness. So I did use 2 pumps on that one, but also it was the first time I opened it, so you know, sometimes it takes a little bit to prep the bottle. So we've got that. I'm just gonna wipe off the excess with my makeup eraser here. I do want to mention, because I do like to promote sustainability, occasionally when I'm filming, I will have like a Kleenex or something that I have grabbed because I didn't grab my stuff. I do want to make sure to not be doing that and be using my reusable wipes and things like that. So I do just have, this is the regular size makeup eraser, and then I also have some of like the small mini size for like the daily cleansing. And all you have to do is get these wet, and they wipe off most of your makeup. I say I would still use like an oil cleanse and just like a face wash as well, but this helps get off, like, you know, when you get like the extra mascara under your eyes and you have like black that just never seems to get off. These are amazing for that. And then these came with a pouch, or you can just get like a lingerie bag and throw them in there and wash them up, and you can wash them with towels and they wash up great, and they just keep on going. And instead of using a like makeup a disposable makeup wipe or tissues or anything, I make sure to try to keep this on hand for even when I'm applying makeup, because oftentimes we're like wiping things up, and then I will use one to take makeup off at the end of the day as well. Okay, so far so good. Let's go ahead and try out the concealer. So I hope everyone is having a good start to 2024 and just having a good year so far. So here is this. Got the nice little doe foot applicator. And I'm just going to apply some under the eyes, at the corners, put a little on this blemish. Sometimes I put some around my nose, but it's not terribly red and the foundation covered it up nicely. So it kind of has, you know, that paint smell to it. It's not terrible, but it's a little bit like, if you have tried a lot of, you know, face products, you know what I'm talking about, kind of that paint smell. But the color seems to be really good. The color match seems to be really good. And again, that was the shade Light 40N. So I think we did pretty good there. And I also need to clean my brushes because I've been using them and not washing them. But I'll be using the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy A506 brush for the concealer to pat it, blend it in. This is pretty, it's not too liquidy, but like it does seem pretty, it's not thin, but it does seem pretty like there's something very moisturizing about it. So that's good because it's supposed to be hydrating. So hopefully this will be a good option for those of us with dry skin. Although it does say on here that it's ideal for all skin types. Now, something a lot of people do is use an eyelid primer, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have some. I love eyelid primers as well, but you actually don't need an additional eyelid primer. A lot of times you can just use your concealer up on your eyelids as well to prime them. And I mean, the benefit there is that it's gonna conceal, you know, any redness or discoloration in there. You do want to set it with powder. So you want to use either an eyeshadow and just set it, or just use like your setting powder, like you're setting under your eyes, and set the eyelid where you've put the concealer, set that the same way. But then that can help save additional products. You just have one product instead of two. Even if you do your eyes first, and so you start with an eyelid primer, you can just start with the concealer. Just make sure you do use some powder to set it. So I did realize that I didn't bring a loose setting powder in the room with me here. So I'm just going to use a pressed powder, which you can absolutely use as a setting powder. And I'm going to be using the finishing powder in Soft Light from the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked the Elephant palette, which I have talked about many times before on this channel, and this one's discontinued, but they came out with more for holiday this year, and I'm guessing they're so popular, I'm guessing they'll come out with more again next year. But you can also buy these shades not in these palettes. So I'll be using that second shade in. And this is a finishing powder, so it's actually not necessarily meant to be used as a setting powder, but since I didn't bring one in here, we're just gonna go ahead and use it today. And I'll use it on my eyes as well to set that concealer. If there's a hiccup there, I don't know where I left off. My memory card ran out of space, but I did just go ahead off camera and apply some bronzer and blush from this Hourglass palette again. That's kind of been my tried and true for the past couple of years. I use it all the time, and I know it works great with pretty much all of the other products I wear. It works really well. So it does work over the top of this foundation. I did notice as I was looking really close, as it's starting to kind of dry down, it still has a nice glowy effect to it, the foundation does, but it's starting to look kind of dry on my skin and maybe settle into some fine lines and wrinkles, so especially kind of around the mouth. So, and then where it's looking dry is especially on my forehead, and I just moisturized like right before I put it on and everything too, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to be making my top favorite list so far, but you know, I have to give it a fair shot and try it a few different ways too. But so far it's definitely not making it into the top 3 or even 4. But let's keep giving it a go. The concealer, I'm still on the fence about the concealer. I think it's okay. I think it is also a little bit drying down and looking a little like crunchy bunchy, not terribly, but a little bit, and we just put it on, so we'll have to kind of see by the end of the video where we end up. But so far it's okay. It's not terrible, but it's not my favorite either. So let's move on to the brows, because as you see, I don't have a lot of brows. My brows are pretty sparse and they don't show up very well. So it takes me a little while to build them up. And so over the last year in 2023, I decided to look for new cruelty-free and vegan products for my eyebrows that could help a person with sparse brows build them up and make them look like they have eyebrows that still look natural. So let's see what I've come up with. So the first product I have is the Florence by Mills Tint and Tame Eyebrow Pencil, and this is in the shade Medium Brown. And I did do a video on this if you want a more in-depth review, but it's got that nice kind of triangular shape, and it's fairly thick, so it builds up. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that first. All right, so I've filled them in, and now I'm gonna brush them out. That pencil is enough for an everyday kind of lighter makeup look. If I want to pump it up a little bit more, or I'm doing a little bit stronger makeup look, then I'll go for this brow trio, but I don't necessarily reach for it every day. But the other product I found that I really liked in 2023 is the Lift and Snatch by NYX. It's a brow tint pen, and this is in the shade Espresso. And I haven't shared this one on my channel before. I was kind of intimidated by this brush when I first saw it, because it's kind of like a liquid eyeliner pen, but for your brow. And you don't want to get too carried away, especially with the dark espresso. But I really do like how it fills in if I am light-handed with it and just very gently do it. So you just want to hold it really gently and mimic the strokes like you are mimicking the actual hairs in your brow. And you don't want to fill the whole thing in and draw it. You just want to add brows, especially where there are none. And so that's my goal, is where I have these kind of missing patches in my brows, is to fill it in with the pen. So you can see it's like a eyeliner pen, but for your eyebrow. You just want to do really light strokes, and already the first one I did was too heavy. So that is the one caveat with this, is like if you get a little carried away, it's a little tricky to fix. And I got a couple of strokes that were too heavy in the front of the brow, so I'm just going to take the pencil and use the spoolie on the back end of that and brush through it real quick. And doing that will soften any of those harsh lines that you made. So that really helps to kind of blend it into that initial product that you already have in. Because it's kind of, because we've applied that first, this is kind of applying on top of that, so we're able to kind of fix the mistake, rather than if we went directly onto our skin. It's a little harder to kind of blend this in with the skin, because it's almost like, I mean, it's an ink, right? So again, you're just doing short little strokes that are hair-like strokes in those places that are sparse. Now, if you're like me, when I write, I push really hard. And so I want to make sure I don't use this like I'm using a pen, right? I don't want it to be really hard. Oops, and I just got a harsh line right there. I should also not talk and do this at the same time. But what I was going to tell you is, if you, instead of holding it, if you hold I'm left-handed, but if you hold a pencil kind of when you write like this, if you actually flip it and pinch it, so you've got it between your first two fingers, and pinch it here, it's kind of awkward for you. But what it does is actually make you have a much lighter grasp. And so you still have the motion, but you're holding it much lighter. So this is actually another way to make sure you're doing nice light strokes, is to change up the grip of your own hand. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and blend that into, just with the spoolie. And again, that right there could be enough. There, you could be done. But if you're like me and you have sparse brows and you really want to fill them in, and you also want to kind of set them in place if your brows are a little unruly, then you could use either a clear brow gel. But what I have started using is a tinted fiber brow gel. And I am using the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara plus filling fibers. So I'll go ahead and put this on top, and it has some fibers in it, so it'll fill out the brows a little bit more, and it will also set them in place. Now I have to admit, I think this is the shade, chocolatey brows. This is chocolatey brows. I first discovered this neutral brown e.l.f. Wow Brow tinted gel, and these are both, as is everything I showed today, cruelty-free and vegan. But I really do enjoy the e.l.f. Wow Brow tinted gel that also has fibers in it. It has little fibers in it as well. I like it even more than the Essence. However, I personally had an allergic reaction of some sort to this, and I had little bumps underneath my eyebrows and kind of like onto my eyelids that they were just little tiny bumps. It wasn't like really itchy or anything, but it did kind of dry out the skin, and I don't think you want to be, you know, messing with your skin like that. So while I really like it, for me it just doesn't work. So if you don't have sensitive skin, if you don't have whatever the allergy or the sensitivity to those fibers is, I do prefer the e.l.f. Wow Brow. However, the Essence is a pretty good dupe. I just don't like the color quite as much on it. But I think it's even more inexpensive. Both of these are fairly inexpensive products too, so they're both great options. Either one, they're kind of interchangeable. So you just have to find what works best for you. But here we've got the little spoolie. It comes with the little brow wand, and you can see probably maybe that this is a really like brown, and the e.l.f. one is a much darker brown. So if I just use this by itself, my eyebrows don't quite look right. I think like the color's a little off, but because I've already put these other products on, it doesn't really show, the color itself doesn't show up too much. So I just use it like you would a brow gel, just brush it over. It's gonna add little tiny fibers in there to fluff up the brow a little bit, and then it's also, because it's got the gel, it's gonna set them in place. And again, this is kind of like an extra step. You don't have to do this at all. If I'd skip one, this would be the step I would skip. But I do just kind of like how it sets them all in place and kind of molds all three products all together. So that's my top 3 brow trio that I found in 2023. All of those products I found in 2023, and I'm taking with me into 2024. Let me know in the comments below if you have any products that you discovered in 2023 and are taking with you into 2024. All right, checking in with the foundation. I do have some drying between the eyes right in here, which is a common place that I do get dryness in foundations. And then under the eyes, it's creasing, and that could be because I didn't use a true setting powder. So I do have to give the concealer the benefit of the doubt. And the foundation doesn't seem to be drying down too much in any other places, and it's looking okay on the nose, around the chin area. It's just kind of the forehead, and especially that patch between the eyes that is looking a little bit dry, but it's not terrible. Still not beating my top 3, but it's acceptable. On to eyes. I wasn't going to do any new products because I haven't really purchased anything new, and for this year I'm actually trying to not purchase a lot of new products. I do plan to have some new products to test and review, especially if you are requesting them, But my goal for 2024 is to actually use up more of the makeup I already have, because I already have an abundance and I could probably get through the whole year without needing to even buy any more. But for me, I probably still will. However, my goal is to use more of what I actually have. And so I was going to just use a palette that I regularly use, and then I remembered that I had all these plans for December and recording videos and I didn't get to do them. And one of the things I did purchase was from Give Me Glow, and it is the Christmas morning palette, and I wanted to open this up on Christmas morning and use it or wear it for Christmas morning and do something fun. And I'm not sure if I even wore makeup on Christmas. I think I did, but I definitely didn't reach for this. I didn't even get to try it. I opened it up when it came just to look at it real quick, and then I put it away because I wanted to do like a full first impression review, and I missed my opportunity. So it's not the season anymore. 'Tis not the season. But I mean, I used it. I didn't even use it. I didn't even open it. So let's go ahead and just take a look at this and try some of these products. I have not used any Give Me Glow cosmetics yet. This is my kind of first foray into Give Me Glow. I always see them online, especially the eyeshadows, get rave reviews. They're also cruelty free and vegan, and I know they're recently switching from larger eyeshadow pans to smaller ones, so I'm sure this palette has like bigger pans than what these singles will be now, or I don't, maybe the palettes will also be smaller from now on. So these probably have older, bigger palettes, but it is new to me. So let's take a look. Get it nice and open. So we've got Gifts Galore, Milk and Cookies, Stocking Stuffers, Chimney, Under the Tree, Pajamas, Cozy Fire, and Santa's Sleigh. And we've got some beautiful colors going on here. Wow. So the greens, of course, I think are a little more Christmassy, and maybe even the red tones, but you can use them all year long, of course. So I love this Milk and Cookies shade. It looks like it will be a good transition shade. So let's go ahead and just start with that. And I'm going to use a BK Beauty 202 brush to start, and just dip in here and start with a transition. So this is like a real first impression because I've never even tried the cosmetics from Give Me Glow. But like I say, I see them on YouTube getting rave reviews often for the eyeshadows. And I've seen people like swatching them, and oh my goodness, they just look delicious. So I had to take advantage of, I was gonna say the sale, but this one wasn't actually on sale when they were switching over from the big pans to the small pans. But I just liked this palette so much, and again, I had big ideas for Christmas videos that I never got to. So that's why I went with it. But that's okay. It was still a reasonably priced palette for for these big pans. So far, that Milk and Cookie shade is a great transition shade, and I really like how it's applying. It's nice and soft. Now I'm going to use, let's use this BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy A504 brush. Is that the smallest I have? And I'm going to use the Chimney, which looks kind of like a dark green gray, grayish green. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little of that in the outer corner. Well, it's super pigmented. I will tell you that. It is very pigmented right off the bat. All right, I'm just going to blend that out. Wow, it was really pigmented, but it also blended out very nicely. Okay, I am pleasantly surprised so far. And now I feel like we definitely have to use one of these shimmer shades because they're stunning. So hard to decide. I like the gold, but I feel like I go with gold all the time. So I'm going to choose this Gifts Galore because it looks special. So I'm going to try that. And I'm going to first try it with a BK Beauty 203 little flat brush. And if that doesn't work, I'll apply it with my finger. Doesn't seem to be picking up very well with the brush. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful, but it doesn't seem to really be picking up on this brush at all. And this brush usually actually works very well for like shimmery shades, but some just need to be applied with a finger, so. All right, our favorite tool. Ooh, pretty. All right, I'm going to just grab the BK 202 brush that I use for the transition just to kind of blend it back into the crease. And this is really beautiful. It's, I'll swatch it in a second. It's definitely got like a shift to it. There's almost like a reddish brownish undertone. I'll show you on my finger, but I'll do a swatch because that probably was terrible. So I'm just gonna blend it in the crease, and ooh, very pretty. Let's do the same on the other side. This is when our makeup eraser comes in very handy. When we do makeup with our fingers, it wipes it right off. And that was just dry, that's not even wet. So we'll do the other eye. You can also wipe your makeup brushes off on your makeup eraser to just kind of lightly wipe off any excess product and things like that too. So they're super handy. Again, not affiliated, not sponsored. And I'm just blending that back in with the same brush. And I really like how that looks. It's very pretty. All right, let's swatch it. That is a smooth like butter formulation. That's really pretty. And it feels really nice. But you can see in different light, it looks a lot greener. Well, maybe you can't see. In some lights, it looks a lot greener, and in others, it looks reddish brown. And in this light right here, right now, it's got a flip to it. So it's got the green, and then it kind of flips to the red, and it definitely has a nice iridescence to it. So very pretty color. I do really like that. That's nice. That's one of those shadows that you can just do like a one color look with really easily too, because it already has so much dimension in it and everything. You don't even need to add additional shades to it. So I think we're kind of finishing up here. I thought I would just use the Polite Society mascara that I did mention. I think it was in my last video of what I actually purchased during the holiday sales. I got the Polite Society Greatest Lashes of All Time mascara, and I have been using this and really enjoying it. Again, cruelty-free and vegan. It has kind of like a nice silicone brush. I like the packaging is oval rather than round. It's pretty cool. So I do like this one a lot, and I have been using it. I do say This is like an everyday mascara, but if you want something more dramatic, even layered, I don't think this is it. I think it's a great mascara for every day, but if you're going for like a more amped up look, then I would probably opt for a different one, but this is a very nice formulation, nice packaging. All right, so there you have the final look of the mascara. It is, again, a nice, natural, light-looking mascara. It's a good everyday use, but it's not your most va-va-voom mascara, but it is a nice formulation. I do have to say, I also, I showed in the video that I got the Polite Society set, and it came with the BIG Mouth Lip Plumping Oil Gloss, and I never showed it here on the channel, and I did test it out between then and now, and I have to say that it does plump your lips, but it is like that fire, cayenne, spicy pepper, like, hurts me because I'm really sensitive to spice. Like, oh, it plumped up my lip, but it was really uncomfortable for me too. So if that style works for you, it definitely does plump. It's a nice gloss, but whew, like, holy big mouth is what I think I said when I put it on. It definitely is spicy. So one final last look at the foundation. I think it ended up it looks nice. It's decent. It's, again, not my favorite. It does have a nice glow to it, so I can see where it has like the hydrating effect. If you like kind of a glowy foundation, then it has that effect. But it's not the most drying, and it's not terrible. But I still do have some dry patches. A little bit around the mouth, and then again in the eyebrow area, but it's nice. It feels nice on my skin. I feel like the color match was nice, and I like it. I'll try it again. I'll wear it again. The concealer, I'll try it again with the setting powder. It's not the worst, it's not the best, it's kind of like but they are decent options, and you can always try them out and see how they work for you, because everybody's skin is different, everyone's preferences are different, so you just have to know what works right for you. I think with that, I will close it out today. Hopefully this background is not terrible and we made it through the video okay, other than losing memory card space halfway through. Again, thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Unfiltered Makeup. I'll see you all back here next week with a new video. And until then, take care of yourself.